Welcome to Land Cruiser Scotland. I like Land Cruisers, I live in Scotland, and so here is a channel dedicated to solving the unanswered questions of the internet, like how much does a Land Cruiser weigh if you take off all the doors and the everything? Can you fit, instead of 30-inch tyres, can you go up and fit a 35-inch tyre? These are the questions that the internet needs answered, and I shall be your guide on this journey as we find out. If you want to see Land Cruisers being modified by a complete amateur, namely an IT guy and a baker, follow for more. This is their first video and it's about what I'm going to do in order to fit these 35-inch tyres onto that Land Cruiser. I'm fortunate enough to have a bad Land Cruiser for spare parts and for chopping, and a good Land Cruiser which will get the good parts. So let's bring the car in and see what I've done so far and what I'll still need to do in order to get these 35s to fit comfortably. This is my Land Cruiser 100 series, 2003 facelift model, and I like it a lot. I'm starting to mod it. I'm getting an awning, and I've done a sensor lift with the hydraulic suspension system, because I have a goal of fitting 35-inch wheels. Most people would agree that this is a very silly idea, and I've been procrastinating for a while about putting on my first video, but I thought I'll just do it. These are 31-inch wheels. This is a 33-inch tyre. And this horrible thing is a 35-inch wheel. So I'm going to wheel it over there and show you what it's going to look like, because I am going to make these fit. The first thing I would observe is, by jingo, this is a heavy wheel. Much heavier than any of the standard options that I've got. So I'll just line this up here so that we can see what we're working with. Can I get it to stay still? I might need to use a little block of wood or something. Now here is a standard tyre, that's a 30-inch diameter, and behind it is the 35-inch diameter. Well, it's 34.8. That tyre is a little bit of a funky size. It is a, where is it? It is a 285 75 18. So it's a little narrower than a true 35-inch tyre, but it's definitely 35-inch tall, and I'm going to try and fit it in that wheel arch. Now I'm here on my own today, which makes this a little bit tricky to figure out, but it wants to lean forwards, so I'll put it backwards on there so we can get an idea of the size. So that is looking pretty good in terms of clearance, front and back. Maybe it'll rub the mud flap a little bit, but I'm not taking this car off-road. This is just my big camping car, and we use it to tow track cars and things like that. So on the back, no big concerns. That looks beefy, I like it. On the front, however, we're going to have some problems. Let me fit the tyre. I've had to do two things so far, and there's more to come. I've put on some spacers. Those are just over an inch, I think. They might be an inch and a quarter. No, those are 1 inch. 1 inch spacers are on there. That's the first thing. Second thing is the hydraulic sensor lift, which is really pushing the limits of the hydraulic pressure. So the car's quite uncomfortable at the moment. So I'm hoping I can lower that down some. Otherwise, I might need to go the route of shock spacers for the AHC shocks, or re-index the front torsion bars, which will be a real pain. But for now, spacers, hydraulic lift. I've got a body lift that's still to come. I'm going to have to chop the rear here, mud flap, and then this plastic guard, and then the pinch weld. There's maybe about an inch worth of folded sheet metal behind there, which I'll have to cut also. But let me just do a quick run, see just how bad this is going to be. Okay, it's on. Let's lower the suspension. Well, first of all, that isn't bad. So maybe a little trimmy at the front there. There's about 1.5 inches. I've got 1 inch of clearance before that pinch weld right now. I am going to put the car's suspension down into low mode for a worst case scenario, and then let's look again. Suspension is coming down into low mode. Okay, we're down. A couple of things I need to check. The upper control arm clearance, there is plenty. Let's spin the wheel and see how it looks. Right, a little bit of rotation, and it strikes the shield. It probably won't strike the pinch weld, but I'll take that off anyway. Plenty of clearance on the top. tons of clearance at the front. I'm going to put the suspension up into neutral, and let's see if that makes any difference on the clearance here. Okay, now we'll try high. So we are not far off. An inch of body lift will really help. So I will turn the steering wheel the other way. Let's go back to neutral. I reckon it might strike the front there. Let me have a look at that. So then we just have to trim that corner a little bit. The other thing is I've got caster correction upper control arms, which will bring this whole wheel forward, and that will definitely require a little trim on the corner here. So trim on the mud flap, trim on the front of the bumper, and I reckon those 35s will fit, or 34.8s, and after that everything else will just help. The body lift, the caster correction arms, cutting the pinch weld. But I think that'll work. So, back home, normal wheels are back on, bit more work to do before we can get them on. If you're interested in following some more of the progress on this or learning more about the Land Cruisers, please do follow along and let us know in the comments below if there's anything you want us to try. These videos will be a little more scruffy than the ones we've done on our other YouTube channel, basically because I don't have as much time for editing anymore, but there's still useful information that we can put on the internet. So please do follow along. I'll keep you posted on what else we're doing with this Land Cruiser. Lots of mods planned, and hopefully you'll learn a thing or two. If you're interested in Land Cruisers, this is the place for you. Thanks for watching. Take care.